Welcome to Figure Skating Land. This is your host, Jilly. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more figure skating content. Today, I'm going to be walking you through the wild journey that was 4 continents. I don't know about any of y'all, but my sleep after this week is just bizarre. There were times where I was trying not to fall asleep at midnight watching skating or waking up in the middle of the night to either spoil results for myself or to attempt to watch it before crashing again. But I eventually did get caught up on everything. The pairs event was the start of the wild ride. We had Deanna and Max going from 4th place to 2nd place, and then Ellie and Danny dropping from 2nd to 4th. I guess it wasn't really that much of a wild ride, but between the two pairs, it felt like a wild ride to me. Before I get into the intricacies of pairs, good Lord, was the sound bizarre. First you heard no music, then you heard no human speaking. We have Audrey Shin in her blonde era. It took me a moment to realize that was her. In all seriousness though, even though Audrey Shin and Balazs Nagy came in last place here, they are so promising as a pairs team, and I know that they're going to be one of our top teams at some point. It was just a rough outing for them. It's not like every competition we've seen with them has gone like this, and we'll just see how they do in the future, just kind of more outings together. Alisa and Misha stayed in 5th place for both the short program and the free program. They had a very rough free program. I feel like your short program could have been scored higher. It's still one of my favorites this season. I think they had it last season too. It is so powerful. As for the free program, there were just a lot of mistakes. One thing for us all to be mindful of is this is their first outing since the plane crash, and I can't imagine how difficult it's been at the Skating Club of Boston. And also, a lot of the American skaters discussed feeling jet lagged. We could think of this as just like the warm-up for Worlds and see how they do there, especially when they're at an American Worlds. And then Ellie and Danny, they were in 2nd after the short program. They once again had a very strong short program, beautiful, powerful, one of my favorites. But they've seemed to regress a bit when it comes to their progress they had in the beginning of the year when it comes to their free skate. It started off, there was a very strong twist, and then when they did their triple toe loops, Danny put his hand down, and then that's when it kind of fell apart. So then she fell on the throw triple flip. I must say, though, she did stay standing on the other throw jump. Hopefully they can just get to the drawing board and figure out, like, what do we need to do different for Worlds? I don't know, jet lag, nerves. I think she had mentioned in an interview that she's not used to being in 2nd or so close to like medaling at such a big event. But hopefully before Worlds, they'll just get, back into it. And I feel, and I know this is my bias, but I feel like we just need a sprinkle of sports psychologists everywhere. PEREIRA and MICHAUD rose to the bronze medal. They had a very strong short program. Their free program was not as strong. Apparently she was sick for 24 hours when they first arrived in Korea and did not get to practice that much. Oh my gosh, Deanna and Max, I'm so happy for them. And I'm also happy because even though they got the silver and not the gold this year, you can actually tell Deanna and Max were happy about their achievement of coming in from 4th to 2nd place and medaling. Like, that made me happy to see them so happy, and they really did fight hard. I know that she mentioned having a leg injury and that it might have been interfering a bit with some things, but also she mentioned they were having clean short programs, so they're not exactly sure what was happening. But regardless, they pulled together for the free program. I am hoping that this momentum can last until Worlds. I'm also curious to see what programs they're going to come up with for Olympics. I've heard that they already have their programs either imagined or like the theme thought out. So I'm excited for that. But I'm excited to see them live again. It's been about a year since I've seen them. Well, maybe since around April. Yeah, close enough. And I'm just hoping that they get over kind of whatever's been going on in competition. Again, sprinkling of a sports psychologist might be needed, and that's okay. I also really fell in love with their water program here. I think it was just really hard for them to top the vampire program. And then in the past they were making some mistakes during it, but after seeing it clean, I think I really like it, especially when the first throw is on that change in the element of the song. Like, that was really neat, and I'm excited to see it. So, Deanna and Max, y'all need to stay healthy. I do know that Max looked a little pale, but I don't know if that was just me or my TV. Who knows? But stay healthy. Let's see how you do at Worlds. Riku and Ryuji won the gold here. No surprise. They were leaps and bounds ahead of everyone here. Like, their short program, like, the only way I can explain it is that they were just literally on fire. Yes, they were literally on fire. They were so fast. They just had this like attack mode. Like, they do so well with this fast-paced program. And then their free program, huge throw in the beginning. And one of the most adorable things was the ending when like they ended on the wrong side. Like, that was precious. They are really cool. And I know I'm not saying a whole lot about them, but that's basically what can be summed up is amazingness. And I'm excited to see them against everybody else at Worlds. I'm going to be on the edge of my seat. Nobody's going to want to be seated near me because I'm going to be cheering, gasping, cheering, gasping. I am so excited. And it's one of those times where I wish I had like a non-skating friend coming with me, because the pairs thing always seems to be something that I can get non-skating fans really into. In fact, my husband, the only thing he likes is ice dance and pairs. I think this is going to be a fun event. I mean, hopefully it's not like a menning fest or a pairing fest, if that's a thing, a pairing fest. But I'm excited. So that was a cool pairs event. Little twists and turns here and there, but not as twist and turny as some of the other things that went on. So I'm already going to start this by putting 2 warnings out there. I am not an ice dance expert. I wish I was. I'm gonna have to watch some YouTube videos to get to understand it better. And 2, as many of y'all know by now, I love Chock and Bates. I know it's a very, very heated topic when it comes to them, but I just can't help it. I adore them. So I really do like Piper and Paul's rhythm dance. I think they have definitely got into something that really fits them. In the past, their rhythm dances, I think, have failed them. This one is very, very fun. I think it is something that if you are seeing it in person, and I haven't seen it in person yet, that it can really get you on the edge of your seat. They have some really cool like tricks. I'm laughing because it shows kind of my ice dance knowledge when I call it tricks, but lips and stuff. Overall, it just seems really fun. Totally see that things are, pretty difficult lips there, especially towards the end. And Maddie and Evan, I really like their rhythm dance as well. I felt like they did difficult things. When you kind of compare the two, the Chock and Bates rhythm dance seems very sophisticated, but I can see, even as I'm very biased, but I can still see how Piper and Paul, how their rhythm dance came in first. And, with a point difference, I can totally see that. Just thinking about kind of just the overall composition of the program and how it gets you going and the lips. And Chock and Bates, they did great. Some people said they seemed a little tentative. I didn't see that as much, but again, I'm not like an ice dance expert. I do think if you just look at the two, it really would kind of go on preference and just how much Piper and Paul's program can get someone kind of real energized as a crowd. As for the free dance, that one perplexed me a little bit. Please hear me out. So Maddie and Evan skated their program flawlessly. It has so many intricate details, so many difficult lifts. It is overall a pretty complex, well thought out, sophisticated program. And somehow Piper and Paul ended up getting almost like, I think, 2 points more on this program than they've gotten ever. And there was just a little bit of shakiness to them. It wasn't as skated well as it was at Nationals. So I was pretty confused about how their PCS shot up. It just felt like things were done in a certain way to make sure that they won. And so I totally get it. Now I know how Piper and Paul fans feel, because there's always, this disbelief of like, oh, how did Chock and Bates win? But for this, it just felt weird because they've done these programs same way. One, and I get it's different judging, but it just felt weird. And so they'll do these same programs, and it's not been this close, nor has there been such a kind of difference in the scoring. So it just makes you kind of wonder what's going on. And there are some like conspiracies that maybe this is a way to give Piper and Paul 4 continents so that Maddie and Evan can have worlds. Or some will think, okay, this is a way to like shift the tides. I don't know, but it was just kind of interesting. I just don't know kind of what to think about it. And I'm not saying that I dislike Piper and Paul. They're delightful and fun people. Really, really intricate programs. It's just when I think about the free dances, watch the free dances, they're just completely different when it comes to the complexity. And so it just looked really strange. And some may say, hey, now people are now finally getting, scored how they should. I don't know. But I just know that feels like kind of an abrupt difference, and I'm not sure what's different. And so I'm curious to see how Worlds will go. It's a home Worlds for Maddie and Evan. Barring any mistakes, are the same exact things going to come here? Hopefully Maddie and Evan will go home and maybe add some meals more complicated to their rhythm dance. Who knows? But it does make it, though, to where it's really interesting while you're watching ice dance, because in the past, unless somebody fell, you could only see there was going to be some kind of difference if someone fell. But who knows? We shall see how Worlds goes. I'm intrigued, and I definitely just want to definitely point out again, please do not hate me for these opinions. I am not an ice dance expert. I love Maddie and Evan. They are awesome. So please do not think that I'm saying anything negative about Piper and Paul. I just find ice dance scoring confusing. And the men's results, I am so happy for Jimmy Mall. Oh my gosh. But I'll get into that more in a little bit. For me, it's always interesting to look at the men's results. How this time there isn't as funny like movements, although you can see that Camden for his short program was in 16th. And then his free skate was 8th, so it brought him up to 8th. The short program kind of felt like I want to say menning fest, but it really did. First, though, I want to mention Darian. I have never seen this man skate before. He is a load of fun. I think it was a good idea for him to come here and do the dances that he did, because now he's on our radar. So book him for all the galas. Book him for Stars on Ice. We need to see more of this man. Donovan was a delight to watch also, as usual. So pretty confused, because I'm pretty sure Chris said that was the first quad that Donovan was attempting in competition. And I don't think that's correct. Like, I feel like it's happened, but it did make me optimistic. Even though like he lost stamina towards the end, like he did really well with the quad initially. And so I think that he is on the upward trajectory. Hopefully he doesn't get injured. I just adore watching him skate. He is just such a positive person who really enjoys skating. So Roman wasn't able to recreate his nationals magic, but the good news is although he made mistakes, like he didn't really fall apart. I think something had happened to his skate right beforehand, and they had to quickly fix it. But even though it wasn't perfect, I do think he's still on like the road to improvement. Camden has a freaking back injury, and I had no idea. That must somehow happen from like nationals to now. And he managed to pull off making it to 8th place overall. His free skate was better than his short program, but you could still see that he just wasn't 100% himself. I think Chris had mentioned also that you could tell in practices that Camden seemed like he was in pain. I think he's also the first alternate for Worlds, so that may be something for us all to be mindful of. Hopefully he rests his back up, and I wonder what his plans are for the Olympic season, because he's kind of teetering on that could possibly go to the Olympics situation here. Jimmy freaking Mall did it. I adore Jimmy Mall. Like, he seems like such a cool bro type dude. In fact, sometimes I probably confuse my husband because I'm like, Jimmy. But anyway, Jimmy so impressed me because I will admit he slayed it in the short program, and I thought, oh, great. Let's see how the free program goes. Well, he switched up his free program music. I think this suits him so much better. Like, he does really well with kind of the slow into, like, getting into the dance move. He just did awesome. And I was so pleased, and I was so glad that he proved me wrong. And I think this was his first, like, ISU medal, and it just makes me so happy. And it's interesting. I don't remember if anyone pointed this out or if I just thought this to myself. I don't believe he's won a nationals medal. Well, I know he did, at least didn't this year. But then he got like a 4 continents bronze. So that is just so cool. In the kiss and cry, first I was tearing up because he and his coach were showing pictures from the victims of the plane crash from the Skating Club of Boston. And especially with Spencer, where he was just so active on figure skating Reddit. That was rough. And then it's almost like I shift into a different form of tears when you see it when Jimmy realizes that he won a medal. That is so awesome. And I'm really hoping that he just like takes this and it helps build his confidence for next year and so on. And I also can't help but wonder how difficult this is for him. This, like I said earlier, is the first competition some of them have skated at since the plane crash. And you can just tell in some of the interviews that he and, of course, many other skaters have had a difficult time with this. So kudos to Jimmy Ma for going through such an event, then getting jet lagged probably, and just putting down such a skate. And second place was Junhwan CHA. I want to apologize because it's going to be briefer than I anticipated. I lost my original recording about him. Both programs were really well done. His free program was amazing. He opened up with this really awesome quad salchow. And then, of course, he kind of popped the toe, but everything else after that in the free program was really great. And he got the PCS that he deserved. And so overall, this has been a very exciting season for him. And the gold medal here I went to Mikhail SHAIDOROV, and this is 100% deserved. He was amazing. Something that was pretty emotional, though, was seeing that Dennis Ten, also from Kazakhstan, 10 years apart in the same arena, won gold medal as well. And so that is just huge for Kazakhstan. It is huge for Mikhail. This is just really great to see because that's a smaller federation. So he put on such a strong short program and free program. He, of course, did the famous triple axel, quad toe. Like, it was just really cool. And I love watching his reactions in the kiss and cry. I am so curious to see how he's going to be at Worlds when it comes to Ilya. Of course, Ilya has like 1,000, 1,000,000, 9,999 jumps. So really, I'd be curious to see if Mikhail could at least get a silver medal. Hopefully he could take this momentum and like transfer it to Worlds. Also, I don't know about y'all, but when the music started playing in the free program and it wasn't his, and then he walked up to or skated up to the judges, I thought, this is one, a new program, and two, what a bizarre way to start it. Instead of, automatically thinking, oh, it was the wrong music. So he was able to skate so awesome after that. And so I'm just excited to see him progress each year. This was just so huge for him and Kazakhstan. Wow. The women's event actually ended up being probably the most surprising for me. Not the number one, but the 2 and 3 and 4 and so on. What a ride. Did not expect, not that I didn't think she'd be good enough, but I did not expect that Bradie Tennell would kind of catapult to second place. Nor did I expect Sarah Everhart to end up with the bronze here. It has been years, I think since 2007 maybe, there hasn't been a Japanese skater on the podium. And this was 2 U.S. women on the podium, which is wild to me. First place was Chaeyeon Kim, which was not a surprise. That girl slayed. One of the most amusing things, though, was I don't know if she was trying to be humble or not, but her reaction to kiss and cry when she won was really amusing. She's just like, okay. While her coach is like cheering, that was amazing. And of course, as Chris kept saying, this was a hometown win for her. She's a hometown girl or local girl, something like that. But I really loved seeing how The stands were packed for her. And also, this audience for the women's event was huge. And not only did they cheer for her, they also cheered for so many other skaters. It was just awesome to see. She has nerves of steel. It did not seem to rattle her at all that all those people were there to watch her win. And I kept laughing because Chris kept being like, the roof is going to blow off the building. And that's how I felt in Montreal when Deanna and Max won. As for her short program, I absolutely adore Trennt for her. I think this is such a good vehicle for her because she is a powerful skater. Her free program also suits her, probably not as much as her short program, but it still is a good vehicle for her. Landed all of her jumps with no question at all. It was just such a good outing for her, and I'm so curious to see who she's going to give a run for the money when it comes to Worlds. I mean, there could be a potential in any scenario that she could either end up with gold, silver, or bronze, which really also makes Worlds really exciting this year. Before we talk about Bradie, I already said this on Blue Sky and maybe read it. Bradie made Benoit smile. And it reminded me of when Wednesday Addams smiled for the first time in the Addams Family Values. So that was a Benoit alert that I had to put out there. So if you haven't watched it yet, watch it just to see a Benoit smile. And Bradie Tennell had the unexpected, I don't want to say completely unexpected, but the surprise silver medal here. I completely thought that Mone CHIBA would get silver here, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. Bradie, I must say, like when you see her in real life, and people talk about this on Reddit too, and now I know what they mean. She's just a skater that you need to see in real life because of her lines and her speed, her short program. I liked it better in person, but I don't know if it's one of those watch it in person type things. I think she is growing into it a little bit. It doesn't seem to be, 100% her style, but she still did a really nice job. Her free program is where she reminded me of the Bradie that we saw pre-injury. She was just so confident going out there, landed all the jumps. Yeah, there's some discussion about maybe some of her jumps could have been reviewed as well as, how they're reviewing Alysa LIU. But regardless, that was the Bradie that we know. And it was just really good to see. I hope she sees it as came back from injury. This is where I'm at because I predict now, just upon seeing all this kind of improvement that she's made throughout the year, that she's going to be someone that is going to be on that fight to get to the Olympic podium. So this was overall so cool for her and just really cool for that momentum for the U.S. women. Sarah Everhart got her first ISU medal here. She got the bronze. This was awesome for her. This is such a good season for her. I think once she can get some of the musicality down, the expressions, she's going to be such a force to be reckoned with. She puts so much energy into her short program. That involves a lot. One of the things my husband talked about is when he watched Bradie and Sarah skate to these programs in the past, he said some technical terms for kind of the beats per minute or how the songs crescendo, something about how Irish music is probably much more difficult to skate to because it's just so high energy. Well, she did amazing here. Her free skate, she's really selling me on the Firebird. I think if she were to do some dramatic looks, looking into the distance or something, that would really solidify it. I also learned recently that she did the short program, Irish style, because her father, I think, has Irish heritage, and she did the Firebird program because her mother has Belarus heritage. But that's beside the point. She is such a consistency queen. If she were to make a mistake, I think she did at Nationals. Yeah, I was there, actually. Yes, she did make a small mistake in the free program. It's a surprise. So it's something that USFS will need to think about. I'll do another video about Road to Milan. I'm blanking on the name. The Road to Milan trophy event, and talk about that a little bit more. But it is curious to see if they'll, after this result, want to send Sarah or Isabeau to Worlds. Overall, though, this is so promising for her. And I just hope she brings some of that personality out that Ashley Wagner and the Olympic champion Sarah Hughes said on the run-through to her programs. And it may be something like she just needs to get used to performing on the international stage as a senior more. It kind of reminds me when I was on postdoc and I would prepare for like the didactic presentations I had to present. And I would be nervous when I got up there. So it's like all the personality and the quirks that I had just went out the door just for me to like present the information. So I think just more exposure to competitions, she'll be able to kind of just put more oomph into it, more of her personality. And hell, maybe they'll even consider her like an acting coach. Who knows? But this is such a good season for her. Alysa LIU, although she got in 4th place here, I think she won the award for having the most fun, just like she did at the Olympics. Upon arrival, she was already taking a selfie with Maddie and Evan. She met up with Young Yu, which they've always been pretty close and besties. One thing I had posted on Blue Sky is it amused me so much. You know how whenever after the short program, a lot of skaters will be like, I'm going to train, I'm going to do this and this. She had mentioned, oh, I'm going to go shopping tomorrow on the day off. I need new shoes. And there's this UCLA store and that she wanted to get some merch there. And so that just made me laugh because it just shows her overall personality. She's just like, yeah, I'm just going to go to the store. And it also amuses me. There's a UCLA store there. But anyway, that's beside the point. And then she was interviewed by Chris at one point. She just said she doesn't get nervous. And I believe her because I watched her at nationals and I thought she is the most chill person on this warm-up. Her short program was mesmerizing as usual. I love this, and there was some debate online about if she should continue it next season. I think she wants to then move on from it, but she'll always still practice it, she said. This is one of my favorite short programs, and I'm so glad she's going to be at Worlds so that I can see it. For her free skate, I think she made so much improvements in stamina. Yes, she ended up doubling her jump, which I think made her end up losing the bronze, but still she did not look winded like she has in the past. So I think this program's really helped her reach her goal of just improving her overall stamina. I love that Alysa seems kind of unfazed by results. So yeah, she mentioned like she wished she wouldn't have doubled, but she didn't seem devastated or even to kiss and cry over her results. So that was really cool. And I think by the time Worlds comes around, she's going to be like, and so overall, this was a win for Alysa LIU because I think she had the most fun out of everyone. Wakaba. I adore Wakaba HIGUCHI and I lit so many candles. And I was really hoping that she would surprise us and go from 7th to like a medal. But really the show during this outing was her grit and just how much of a seasoned skater she is. Twice, she had to kind of rethink her program and throw jumps in, and she did it. And so I adore Wakaba. And one thing I do notice, though, is once the jumps are done, she comes to life a little bit more, like during her step sequences. Oh my God, her step sequences are always on fire. If we could just see some of that, like, really come into life throughout the whole program, I think that she would give Chiari a run for her money. And Mone CHIBA, that was just difficult to watch. So she had an amazing short program, beautiful edges, really thought that she was either going to win the silver here or if Chaeyeon made mistakes, she could win the gold. Then she had the uncharacteristic fall in the free program and she looked injured. I read somewhere that she may be also ill, but her coach ended up basically at the end having to just get her off the ice. It was just difficult to watch. Something wasn't right. You can tell like through the free program, either she was rattled a lot after that fall or she just did not feel well. Like she still tried to put on a performance, but it just wasn't her. So hopefully whatever's going on with its injury, she can get through it. But that was just so sad to watch. Haein LEE came back. I think this was her first international, not domestic competition since the incident. She skated fairly well here. There was some little mistakes, but it definitely, I think this was a good outing for her because she was able to still show that she is able to get most of her jumps back. She just probably needs more experience in competitions. It's interesting though, because someone had pointed out on Reddit, so she was skating to Amber Glynn's former, one of those emo songs, and wore the same dress kind of as Amber Glenn. I don't know if that was an accident. I don't know. There was also some debate about, like, was this song a message to anyone? I have no idea. Who knows? It is interesting because I still kind of don't know what to think about the whole situation. So yeah, that was her. And then Rino Matsuike. Please correct me if I said that wrong. I try to go back always and hear presenters say their names, but everybody says their name different. Regardless, anyway, her short program is such a block for her. She talks openly about being nervous during it. So I really feel like, and I know I'm biased because I am a psychologist, but I feel like if we can just get a sprinkling of sports psychologist in there, that might help with some of that. Her free skate, you can tell like she was fighting it. So that was awesome. And it was just a beautiful program, but it's still so hard to see a skater with that much potential not showing her potential. And I'm hoping next year she kind of works through some of this because she deserves to be much higher up in the rankings, and she could be a force to be reckoned with if she would just kind of get some of this under control. But still a really good season for her. She may not have, medaled at every event, but she really did get people talking at all the events. And in a positive way, just about how beautiful her skating skills are. And there's Madeline SCHIZAS. I feel like her short program, they were a little harsh on her. If they're going to look at hers, let's look at everybody else's as well. Likely was some of that reputation that led them to really review her jumps heavily. I think the Lion King is such a good venue for her. She really comes alive during it. But it was funny. I looked at my husband and said, she hasn't watched The Lion King yet. And once like the familiar part of The Lion King came on, he's like, that kind of takes you out of it. So that was just funny. For her free skate, it turns out for her free program that she was sick during it. And so it seems like Team Canada is all really ill right now. Well, not all of them, but a big chunk. But she seemed very disconnected from her program, just wasn't doing as well as we saw it at Nationals. Some of it felt a little empty. And I know it's a new program, but like at Nationals, she was able to sell us on it. This, not so much, but it's likely some of the illness because she seemed just a little bit checked out. But of course, also like her reaction to her score in the short program really reminded me of Ashley Wagner from the Olympics. So I wonder if some of that also was she felt like, why bother? But hopefully she gets on the mend. I think she's going to World. So I am curious to see how this free program will evolve there. As I mentioned earlier, Team Canada just going through a bunch of illness. Piper and Paul and Deanna and Max withdrew from the gala due to an illness. And it looks like Kazuki also withdrew due to an illness. And so maybe this stomach bug that Maddie alluded to is just ripping through them. Hopefully it does not touch Maddie and Evan because we got Worlds coming up and the king and queen need to be at their best and not ill anymore. Also at Four Continents, they celebrated Evan's birthday, which was awesome to see. They gave him his rightly deserved crown. And I love the cake with Maddie and Evan on it. Well, that is it, y'all. When it comes to Four Continents, I'll release a video about the Olympic test event along with some skating news. And we don't have that much skating or any skating at all, actually, until Worlds. So we're gonna have to find ways to get our figure skating brains rolling. But don't forget to like and subscribe, y'all.